New stages, new security measures and an unexpected source of traffic congestion, thanks to a visit down the road by the President of the United States, all had an impact on the first night of Summerfest 2018, but, unlike last year, it didn't monsoon. So it was a pretty good night. Related, Summerfest revelers react to new U.S. Cellular stage, Northern Gate, Klement beer garden related, Summerfest in Milwaukee bans backpacks, large bags with updated security policy related, Donald Trump arrives in Milwaukee for Foxconn groundbreaking, fundraising Imagine Dragons, which 5 years ago caused one of Summerfest's most memorable traffic jams while headlining the Miller Lite Oasis, played the American Family Insurance Amphitheater, the big gig's biggest venue, as if it were the biggest stadium on the planet. Music critic Pete Levy wrote, related, Imagine Dragons an explosive start to Summerfest at American Family Insurance Amphitheater. Here's the best of the rest of what we saw Wednesday, when Kane made his Milwaukee debut at the rave 2 years ago. He was a YouTube sensation turned country hopeful, greeted by a boisterous crowd. 2 years later, as the inaugural headliner on Summerfest's rebuilt and expanded U.S. Cellular Connection stage, the loud, screaming crowd was there again, this time, cheering a singer with 2 chart-topping radio hits and a No.1 album under his belt. The Georgia native emerged onto a stage as seasoned pro. On the opening, country rocker, Found You, Brown tipped his white ball cap at the fans down front and balanced his rich baritone vocals with shouts of Milwaukee, how are you feeling tonight? Hometown Pro blended a dirt road twang with a thundering chorus that found Kane bouncing across the stage with a big grin plastered across his face. As he sang the sentimental rock balladry of one of his earliest hits, Used to Love You Sober, Brown's voice bent low before rising to a dramatic plea as the crowd cheered for a promising country star who has fulfilled that promise. Eric Ernst, special to the Journal-Sentinel Jethro Tull in one of the more infamous footnotes in rock and roll history, the Recording Academy gave the first Grammy for Best Heavy Metal, Hard Rock Performance trophy to Jethro Tull in 1989, over Metallica. Sure, Ian Anderson and company would never be confused with a heavy metal band. But Wednesday night at the BMO Harris Pavilion, Anderson reminded the crowd that a band fronted by a flute can rock, and hard. Now the band's sole original member, Anderson led the quintet through a set filled with the blues and folk-infused progressive rock tracks that have built the 50-year career the group is celebrating on this summer's tour, with Anderson sharing tales from the band's history and celebrity video guests and former band members introducing their favorite Jethro Tull songs. The band's melodic strains, heard here in the fantastical instrumental revelry, syncopated flute trills and pounding drum solo of Dharma for One, and the Baroque blues of Bore, are likely why metalheads were so put off by that Grammy 2 decades ago. But with Anderson's trademark leg kicks, his flute's wail and his distinctive vocal staccato accenting the lively, guitar-driven bop of Too Old to Rock and Roll, Too Young to Die, and the thrashing, familiar introduction to Aqualung, there was no denying that Jethro Tull was and still is deserving of rock and roll accolades. Eric Ernst country singer Walker Hayes gestures toward the crowd, revealing a new tattoo of his late daughter's footprint, during his show at the U.S. Cellular Connection stage at Summerfest Wednesday night. Photo, Rick Wood, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Walker Hayes. A big, cheering crowd greeted country singer Walker Hayes as he took the stage at the U.S. Cellular Connection stage Wednesday evening. While an artist always appreciates that kind of greeting, it likely meant more for Walker, who was returning to the stage for the first time since the death of his newborn daughter earlier this month, stepping pensively across the stage as he sang the opening syncopated R. It's time to dance, y'all, he said as he bounced to the retro swing of Break the Internet. Midway through the set, he acknowledged the crowd's support. It's been a while since I've been on stage and this feels really good, he said. Thank you for being here. Then he sang Beckett, a song about one of his sons, and the jubilance in his childhood innocence and attitude. As he sang the song's bouncy chorus, Hayes beamed a big smile, seemingly relishing the joyous escapism of music. Eric Ernst. Caroline Rose. If you're going to be doing a sound check when your show is supposed to start, you might as well make it entertaining. That's what indie pop rocker Caroline Rose did at the Johnson Controls World Sound stage on Wednesday afternoon. After testing the mic with a few fried chicken shoutouts and the Chia Pet jingle, Rose quipped that we had all seen the set, and she was going into a 40-minute post-show comedy routine. The jokes continued, with Rose thanking the person in advance who was going to bring the band funnel cakes, and sprinkling bombastic arena rock faces and devil horns into the set. It was quickly clear, though, that these songs came from Kane. She introduced the dreamy, more of the same, saying it was inspired by an awful party that led to a bad sexual experience. She said, Jeannie Becomes a Mom was about a friend's unplanned pregnancy, and the bouncy, soul no. 5 Inches was about how the world is crumbling and everything is falling apart. Instead of crumbling herself, she made people laugh, and made strong connections through infectious songs. You, expletive, saved me today, she said at one point. Music makes everything better. No kidding. Pete Levy, Plevy at JournalSentinel.com. Robin Pleur. The grass is AstroTurf, but hey, the vibe was pitch perfect, especially with Milwaukee music veteran Robin Pleur headlining the stage's first night. With the Seeger brothers John and Mike, and drummer Bob Schneider, bandmates with Pleur in the R. Not the kind of sexy endorsement you'll see in a Summerfest ad, perhaps, but a spot-on assessment nonetheless. Pete Levy. Not all of Wednesday night's shows were so cheery. However, Grizzly Bear, once a leading light of New York City's burgeoning freak folk scene, Grizzly Bear has struggled to find its niche since that movement dried up a decade ago. Still touring in support of last year's album, Painted Ruins, the band's opening night headlining slot at the Briggs. This is our moment, here, with you. He came off more like a budding shaman than an auteur angling for a Grammy. Months later, he picked up a guitar and tore, yet again, to shreds. Rumors of Grizzly Bear's cerebral preciousness had been greatly exaggerated. As the natural and machine-made fogs became indistinguishable from each other, Grizzly Bear spread their gospel, a nascent wave of classic rock, complete with impassioned singing and loud guitars. These fans would have been dancing up a storm, if only they weren't so tired. Cal Roach, special to the Journal Sentinel read reviews. See photos and more from the big gig at jsonline.com/summerfest. Send us your best Summerfest videos to https://clipsha.mp/easier6. Close a look at the new U.S. Cellular stage on the first day of Summerfest 2018. Video by Tiger Williams, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel read or share this story, https://jsonl.in/2coilx.